Alrighty, we are live from Columbus, OH, and this is the Ramsey Show After Show. Welcome aboard. Let's see if. Oh, that is called an ad. Okay, we do have volume. What is that on? That should do it. Okay, great. Alrighty. Let's get started here. I am Coach Steve Money. I'm a Ramsey Solutions certified financial coach. And if you, yes, you, are having money troubles or you just want to make sure you're on the right track, you can schedule a free financial coaching consultation with me at calendly.com/coachstevemoney. That link is in the ticker below and also the video description. You're watching this on youtube.com/coachstevemoney, and if you just scroll past the Oak Island playlist, you'll see my financial content, which is this show, the Ramsey Show After Show. Today is episode number 555. That's 555 to you and me. And there's also the Answering Your Financial Questions playlist, and there's 138 shows of that. That's basically a thing I would do like later in the evening sometimes or on the weekend sometimes. When I couldn't do an after show every day, and that may be returning soon. The music playlist has 12 Ramsey adjacent songs in there I remembered, such as No Spending Money to Seem Cool, dun, dun. When you run, baby, step down. Parody the Hooting the Blowfish song, Only Want to Be With You. And so that is the newest one that I have writ. So listen to those. Singing, as you can tell, not my regular job, but check that out if you're so inclined. What up, Di? How is life and stuff? Market report, and let's make sure this is up to date. It is. So down just a little bit, not anything crazy. Down just very barely. The Dow 12 and 13% down. The S&P 500 and the Nasdaq. The Russell Small Cap Index down almost 0.5%, and it's early going. It's hard to do this, and used to doing it at once the market was closed for the day is when the after show would start. Market already closed, and so easier to analyze it, but hard to get it because anything could happen here. It could stay about this level down. It could completely flip and go around, and go up a lot. Who knows? Anything could happen. Anything could happen. The right political figure can burp, and then something will change on that. Anything nutty. Today at 4:20 p.m., NVIDIA reports their earnings, and so that probably will have a profound effect on the entire market. And so generally, they have good numbers and they make their estimates and so forth. And so it depends on their forecast as well. But we'll have to see what happens with that. We'll check that on tomorrow's after show, and on 29th, Marvel Technology. That's not Iron Man or the Avengers, nothing like that. A different Marvel. And Costco also tomorrow as well. Let's see. Oh, let's see though. Even though these are down, most followed single stocks on the Google. Apple's up about 0.25%. Yeah, exactly a quarter now. Just a hair up is the Alphabet, which owns the Google and this YouTube that you're watching on right now. Oh, and now it's up a little bit more. Microsoft down, Amazon down, but just a little bit, not that much. Meta up about 0.4%. And the Tesla down 3%. Alrighty. Oh, let's check the rest of the planet. Everything down in Europe, everything down in Asia, so it's not just us, kids. Currencies, the US dollar, and when the market's down, generally the dollar is up on most other world currencies. So they're up on the euro, up on the Japanese yen, up on the British pound, love, up on the Canadian dollar, not sorry about that. Also up on the Australian dollar. So as I said, market down generally, not always, but generally, the US dollar is up against the rest of the world currencies. And that's it for that. Let's see if we have any. I don't have any articles picked out today, but let's just take a look at the headlines. Move higher with well, that was earlier, I guess, when it an hour ago. I guess everything was up for a minute. Let's see. Yeah, it was up for a minute, and then people were like, no, beep, 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 doo. All right, NASDAQ, same thing, basically. Yeah, same pattern there. All right. Go back. Okay. So we'll have to see what those NVIDIA earnings are. Behind the curtain from Axios, top AI CEO foresees white collar bloodbath. All right, I'm assuming that's not literally. We talking about job loss. Is that what we're talking about? Because AI replacing those people, perhaps. Delta flight erupts into chaos as pigeons fly around main cabin. NBC News. I got a great idea. Why don't we keep the pigeons in some kind of cage for flying around? And also, I'm gonna go ahead and say don't have them in the main cabin. How about we put them in storage? Well, you can't put a pigeon cage into the overhead, can you? So, I mean, they may actually have like somewhere adjacent in the main cabin for live animals. It's possible because maybe they can't throw them down with the bags because maybe there's not enough air there or whatever. I don't know how that works. What up, Sid? Do you know how that works? Pigeons flying around the main cabin. Why would they even be anywhere near the main cabin? I don't know. But again, I don't know if you have pigeons, if they can actually go where the bags are stored. In the underneath, I think, is where that would be on the plane. Now, I haven't done that much flying. Huffington Post, Wall Street investors mock Trump with a brutal four-letter code word. Four-letter code word. Oh, mocking. Oh, dumb. Nice, crack journalism there. Huffington Post. CNBC, fewer international tourists are visiting the U.S. Economic losses could be staggering. Researchers estimate. Researchers love to estimate stuff, and I mean, that could be happening. And if there, but economic losses being staggering, I don't know about that. I mean, I guess for the, tourist destinations, maybe. But the country in general, I think will probably be fine. WSJ exclusive. Tinder's new chief is out to change its hookup app reputation. Okay, good luck. That's kind of stamped, hammered into um, the zeitgeist there. That is what it would be. So you're gonna try to turn it into oh, I can't remember the names of any of the other ones. Not Hinge. What's the other not OK Cupid. The like one you always had to pay for, I think, was one where it was like is really emphasizing dating and getting a good match. Sid has flown for exactly one trip in her life. She was like 12, no idea how pets on planes work. Okay. Thanks for trying those, Sid. And we have about the same um, same experience with that. Trying to think how many flights. Definitely Germany to North Carolina. Did that when I was 3 weeks old or something like that, probably far too young. And so, if you have, my mom took me out of the incubator early. So, if you have any problems with that, you wait till you get to heaven and you take that up with her. If you have any problems with the way I act or do anything, so that's what I'm going to blame that on. And so I don't know. I mean, I know I was under a year old. I know that for sure. So, and I don't know that that's necessary. I don't know that you need to be breaking the sound barrier or whatever. I don't think we broke the sound barrier, but I don't know that you need to be in an airplane. But anyway, yeah, she wanted me at home with her and took me out of the. I was a preemie, and she did not let me cook in the incubator. So can blame a lot of stuff on her. CNN, Walmart, Target, and other companies warn about growing consumer boycotts. All right. Well, I mean, people can boycott when they want to. That's great. A lot of times that's only going to hurt the consumer when they go to Whole Foods instead of buying groceries at Walmart. That's dumb as crap. Just to do, I mean, do you want to do the best financial thing that you can do for yourself, or do you want to be an activist and you get to make the choice? A lot of companies getting out of the activism business and going back to making money. For example, Anheuser-Busch going back to making beer instead of trying to be an activist company. Fox Business, GM to pour $888 million into building a new V8 engine in New York. Okay, I mean, building in the United States is advised. Why would you do it in one of the most expensive companies? I mean, expensive states in the world. And I don't know that they necessarily are giving you any tax breaks on that. That's why nothing's really shot in Hollywood anymore. No, like movies are shot in Hollywood anymore because they don't give you the tax breaks that, say, for example, Georgia is, where they film a bunch of stuff. And you have, for example, oh, where are they at in Canada? Can't remember. They switched from season 1 to season 2 of Last of Us. I think Toronto is where they did all the season 2 stuff, standing in for Wyoming and Seattle. Let's see. Okay, all right. So we're done. And let's see. 3 things NVIDIA investors should look for in its earnings call. Whether it's up or down, and whether it met the expectations for the past quarter, and if its expectations are good for the other quarter. I'm guessing the next quarter. All right. So we reload and see if we are about at the same spaces before. But now everything's down except, oh, Meta up 0.43%, and oh, there it comes back there. Yeah, so see, it's really, it's too fluid, and 10:42 in the AM Eastern time. And so that's all I have to say about that. Diana, has ever taken a pet on a plane? The cost of it alone would be a no for me. That's a no for dog. Um, yeah. Oh, I was gonna. Oh, I never finished. So I got sidetracked by blaming my mom for taking me out of the incubator early. So when I was less than 1 year old, Germany to North Carolina, flight. Since then, when I was 9, we visited grandparents in Germany. Other than that, I think that's it. I went to brother-in-law's wedding in Delaware. So that was another flight. Honeymoon at Disney World in Florida. And that was another flight. And that probably is about it. So that's like 4 or 5. But yeah, no pets. No pets, so unknown about that. Let's see. Excited but nervous. Did I open this already? I sure did. I was ready to go for a change. This is from who? Low inflation 7142, and that's what you want it to be. But apparently the Fed does not want it to be because they are not proactive enough. But we know it. That's how I feel on that. Let's see. So my husband and I have been struggling on the struggle bus a lot throughout our lives, doing the whole poor decisions compounded by even poorer habits. Yeah, that'll do it. I found that's also, some people would call that maybe normal. I found Dave Ramsey last year when I was asking for help. Needed help again this year. Yeah, that's how it does. If you go to the Google and you put in debt free or pay off debt or something like that, Mr. Ramsey's smiling face is probably gonna pop up for you there. Where are we at? Needed help again this year. And while I was looking at all of this, it hit me. We were in the same position as last year, if not a little worse. So you must have been doing it wrong. So my mom said she will help me by watching my kiddo so I can go over all our finances and create a budget. Well, you could also do, I'm assuming kiddo sleeps at some point. So you could have done it then as well, but whatever. I'm scared to see how bad it really is. Okay, well, so that's how you don't make progress and even regress from 1 year to the other if you have no idea, if you haven't created a budget already. So that should have been one of the first things you got from the Ramsey stuff, to live on a budget. And you need to do a budget for the rest of your life, especially when you get older and on higher baby steps and start making more money. You need to even be more diligent about the budget. Some would say you don't because you have the money to spare, but it's that kind of thinking that leads to you not being intentional with money, and you could waste a bunch, even if you have more and it doesn't hurt you really to lose it. You still don't want to. How about instead you can, if you want to get rid of some of your money, you don't have to do it through neglect. You can actually give it to a charity or keep it and give it to your heirs. Let's see. I'm scared to see how bad it really is. Excited because from what I know, most of our debt is medical. We have no credit card debt. That part is good. But I do have 2 issues I would like advice on. It's advice is the noun, advise is the verb. Hashtag third grade. number one, with that being said, thanks for making the bullet point list here. Or actually, it's not a bullet point, it's a numerical list. With all that being said, I really do not want our daughters to follow the path of poor finances. Well, you don't have full control over that. All you can do is stop being a dumbass with money yourself and model good behavior. And that's about all you can do. They're 14, 13, and 4. Okay, so the 14 and 13, they've already probably seen some dumb crap you did. Whether you realized it or not, Ramsey personality Rachel Cruz, Dave's daughter, she says more is caught than taught. So, like, they just see things. And so that's why, again, you have to model the good financial behavior. Yeah, 14, 13, and 4 years old. That's a little gap, a little 9-year gap in there. What recommendation does this community have in regards to teaching teens and your children financial literacy? For the older ones, I mean, you can start talking to them about it. You can even ask them to read Total Money Makeover. It shouldn't have any words in there or concepts they don't understand. It's very it uses very simple language. No $10 college words. That kind of thing. And so they basically should be able to understand that. And like, for example, when you don't buy them something that they want you to buy them, you can also explain why. And it's because we were dumb with money and we have these loans, or we just have, if it's just medical debt that you have, that's great. Because that can't be avoided, and that wasn't necessarily a dumb mistake. But the dumb mistake part, so you can admit to that with your children and say, please don't do that. I've done that with my kids. Should we open an account for them so they can start learning? You can. That's fine, because I'm assuming they might get monetary gifts from family or whatever, and so you can let them have savings accounts. Also, what step would we start saving for college? If that is what we want to pursue? Okay, we do not have an educational savings account set up for any of them. Okay, and so you see where you don't even have your crap together, and so that needs to be first priority over the babies. Understand, you want your babies to not have as hard a life as you had, sure. You want them to do better than you, be better off than you. But so you see, baby step 5 is where you save for kid college, and guess where you're at? You're in step 1 or 2. So that's a no for right now. You get your life settled. It's no problem opening a savings account for them to put their money they get given into, but you're not doing step 5, because you're not on step 5. You're on step 1 or 2. So that's a no on that. So that's a specific question there, but basically you want to be, and by getting your crap in order, again, that sets a good example, whether you're aware or not of them picking up on it at all. That's happening. Number 2, my husband told me he would let me handle all of this. All right, well, you want to be careful with that, because that's fine if you're the nerd in the family, you're better with numbers, and especially like if what stuff costs at the grocery store anyway, if you're doing all the shopping, etc. So, but you do have to watch out for that, because sometimes when husband says, or even wife says, they'll let the spouse handle all of it, then they're basically they don't have any skin in the game there. And so you gotta be sure, still engaged in the financial progress. And also, Dave, in examples like this, Dave said that's fine for one spouse to make the budget, but the other spouse has to change at least one thing in there. Have to change some amount, or like add a budget category or something to be involved with it. And you do have a budget meeting, even though you write up the budget, you still have to talk so that the spouse that doesn't look at the numbers knows what the numbers are, or has access to them easily if they want to know. My hope is that I would be able to set the budget so he can visualize it all, and that would help motivate him. Yeah, yeah, and you can do a chart for getting out of debt. Where you mark off the thing on the fridge. I mean, if you put that on the fridge, I mean, teenagers might block it out somewhat, but they're going to be in the fridge for drinks and snacks and stuff sometimes. And so they will see what's on the fridge. And so that also could help your kids on that. And your husband. I'm tired of being in the same financial position we've been in for years. Yeah. And so what happened, you didn't change anything previously. So you got to change something in order to get change. I don't want to do this without him. Well, any advice? Again, it's advice with a C for the noun here. So it should be advice here. Advise is the verb. Like, I'm going to advise you as far as the advice that you want. How to get a spouse involved, like I just said. Have them change something about the budget. And any other thing you can think of, like whatever you do, like the budget, you have a budget meeting and go over with it and see if there is anything that you forgot. Because like if he goes shopping if he goes to get the, I don't know, cleaning supplies or something, or if he goes to get anything from the hardware store that like is a once a month purchase or once every couple of month purchase, that kind of thing, you might not be aware of that. So that's why you would work together for that. So you would still have a budget meeting. It's not, you don't want a situation where you are doing it all and you're just saying we can spend this on this. And he basically doesn't do anything except work and put the money in the account and then let you handle everything. You do want to keep him involved in that. So, but yeah. And again, trying to do everything all at the same time. Don't try to do that. Do the step you're on, which is step 1 or 2. Do that, and all the rest of the other things will come. So yeah. So I mean, if you got medical debt, if you're in the same position as last year, you didn't pay any of it off then, or not much at all. So you have to start doing that. And this budgeting thing, that might be hard for you as well, because again, if you go from if you know you have a problem, you looked up getting out of debt or something that brought you across Dave Ramsey on the internet, and you didn't change anything. Or you might have changed some little stuff, but then you had enough extra like medical issues or whatever that basically wiped out that whatever goodness you've created. And so you have to double down and do it harder. Okay? More vigorously. Get involved with it, and so I can go over our finances and create a budget, and that implies that you never made one last year, so you did it wrong last year, and so that's why you're in the situation you are in. Alrighty. Oh, let's see. Di understands the nervousness and concern part of building a budget and seeing exactly how bad the finances are and building a tight budget to be debt free and build wealth. It's exciting after baby step 2. Yeah, a lot of people have a problem with it because they've never done a budget before and they never looked at the numbers, so they have no idea either. Also, apparently not aware that you can get a good idea by looking at your freaking bank account, and some people don't ever log into that, apparently. I suggest they need to set 30 minutes to an hour every week for family financial time and go over the budget and a chapter of Total Money Makeover. That's what worked to get my husband on board with me. Oh, that's a great idea, Di. I did not think about that, but yeah, you can do FPU. Or if not FPU, you can, go over Total Money Makeover. Don't even have to buy it. You can get that from the library. Also, George's book, Breaking Free from Broke. You can go through that as well, which pretty much I would imagine is mostly the same advice. But probably the writing is a little bit different. It's a little more George-like. And so that's a great idea, Di. Glass Lab 2694. The best time to buy a car. You don't try to time any market. You buy a car when you can afford it. And that means, guess what? That means having the cash to pay for it in full because there's no financing. Like end of the year. I mean, I'm sure there's a spot somewhere in there where the new ones are getting ready to come out, so maybe they discount the old ones. I don't know, but again, just like you don't try to time the stock market, you don't try to time the house market. You buy a house when you can afford it, and you buy a car when you can afford it. In the case of a car, that has to be 100% in cash, so that means you have to wait until you have 100% in cash, and then you can buy it no matter what the car market is doing. Don't try to time any market is the Ramsey advice. Alrighty, and this one, Miss Corday, MD, took a year, but I finished my baby step 1. My story, baby step 1 flare. Well, if you finished it, now you're on baby step 2. Open that and see. Well, that's not too long. That'll be all right. Let's see what happened, why it took a year. I know I'm supposed to do it faster. That much is certain. But for context, I was laid off late 2022. It's 2025. That's got nothing to do with last year. Went back to work in early 2023. That's got nothing to do with last year. Last year was 2024. And had to catch up on everything else and get back to a steady place in life before I could fully focus on this. All right. Plus, I wasn't exactly making tons of money. High 40K to low 50K income. All right. What woke me up before you go? Were a few separate incidents. My car battery died barely a couple of weeks after I went back to work and moved. The move had been planned before my layoff, and my old landlord was upset I had to put it off in the first place. I went to an in-person work event and had to put the incidentals hold on my debit card. That particular in-person work event out of town. That particular hotel charged $250. Yeah. And it barely left me $150 in the bank until the hold dropped. Yeah, that's nutty. I don't like working for places that make you pay for something and they'll pay you back, or making you pay for stuff that if it's a business thing, then what you do is you opt out of that. And if you have to do that in order to work there, maybe you get another job instead. of that one. Thankfully, none of the hotels I've stayed at since have charged anything even close to that for an incidentals hold. Okay. Got a great idea. Stop going to hotels. That's the best thing to do in early baby steps, especially baby step 1. You're doing it wrong. A few weeks later, at my car inspection, I needed $800 worth of repairs and had to ask my family for help. Well, you didn't have to, you chose to. So that's maybe being in debt to them, and you shouldn't do that kind of debt either. That was when I decided I wasn't going to go through this anymore. Set up high yield savings account at Ally and auto transferred a small amount, $45 to $50 each time I got paid, because I get paid on the 15th, 31st. It gave me breathing room to keep current on everything else and satisfaction while watching that fund build. Okay. Got promoted this past year. Great. Part of the promotion, stop spending money for that, and got a 20% pay bump, which has given me more resources to work with. I'm now ready to start baby step 2 in June. All right, well, that's not how it works. We don't wait a month to start. So you do, if the baby step 1 is finished, with the next penny, you would be putting that to debt. So I don't know what the, maybe the pay schedule or whatever affects that somewhat, but that's one of the things that people just get in their head. Like today on the Ramsey show, the person got in their head, oh, I have to get a degree in order to be a home builder, and you do not have to do that. But people get stuff in their head, and so this person could have stuff in there. Well, I can't change from step 1 to step 2 before the 1st of June. Let's see, with the next coming paycheck. Okay, all right. I mean, if you don't have any extra money, then you can't put extra to debt. I will never be the fastest to pay off debt, and won't be calling into the show with any big stories or grand revelations. Why won't you be the fastest to pay off debt? I mean, I would say that's a problem. Be the fastest to pay off debt as fast as you can. And so that means you cut out eating out or any other dumb crap you're doing. But I'm ready to go, and I know now how even smaller issues and emergencies can sneak up if you're not ready. Can't wait for the day until all my payments are gone. Right, and how you do that is you pay it off faster. So, you're being too easy on yourself. And when that happens, you're not gazelle intense. And so that makes your baby steps take longer, which is not what you want, was what you just said. So, all right. But, okay, so it wasn't really anything crazy about why it took a year. Just doing it wrong, not cutting things out of budget probably. Maybe not making enough money. If you don't make enough money, you might have to work an extra job. Since his incidental hold should have been released if he didn't wreck the room, right? I felt like that was a female, probably because it says Miss Corday, MD. LR 1084, to refinance or not to refinance, that is the question. What would Dave do? Well, you refinance when it makes sense to do that. And when it makes sense to do that is when the break-even point, because you see, kids, refinancing is not free. Basically, when you got the mortgage, you had to pay closing costs. Basically, that's the same thing when you refinance. It costs money. So there's still closing cost or refinance fee, whatever you want to call it. And so you had that break-even point where the savings and interest would match up the amount to the amount of the fee or closing costs would you would catch up to that amount and have that wiped out basically on the balance sheet very quickly. So that would be it. You don't refinance just to refinance or just because it's a you're just to go down 0.5%. You would not do that. That would be dumb as crap because you're instantly adding to your debt. By adding that, I mean, you could pay the closing costs, refinance fee, whatever. You could pay that in cash, but that's money you could be putting toward the balance instead. So it doesn't always make sense to refinance, even if it is to a lower interest rate. It depends how lower it is. I feel like for me, Dave would say no. Well, let that be good enough then. But I thought I'd get some input on here. We have 10,000 left on our car. Oh, we're talking about a car, not a dumbass house. So no, don't do that. You pay that off. 450 month payment, or hey, got a great idea. You can get rid of that car immediately, sell it, and buy a $2,000 car. We're planning on paying off in the next few months. If you're gonna pay it off in the next few months, you're not gonna have time to reap the benefits of a refinance. You're dumb as crap. My husband just got laid off from his job. He's probably dumb too. And assuming I'll take some time to find it'll take some time to find new employment. No, it can't do that. If you're on step 2, no, he has to get a job, even if it's something that he thinks he's too good for. We're looking to cut monthly expenses. You should do that anyway, but both of you should be working as well. We have excellent credit, doesn't matter, and can easily qualify for a new loan. Loans do not fix the problem of loans. Quit being dumb. But is cutting the extra $150 or so per month worth it for the effort or credit ding? No, because you're going to pay it off in a few months. Quit being dumb. Our goal would be to pay it off earlier than the 36-month term. Anyway, yeah, you said you're going to pay it off in the next few months. Oh, I see. Oh, so I see. So you would do a refinance, and then it would, instead of having to be paid off in the next few months or something like that, you would get a new loan term of 36 months. But if you're still going to pay it off in the next, it doesn't make sense to do that. You're dumb. To save the extra $750 in interest we pay over those 2 years. Where is 2 years coming from? We have $10K left on our car with 6.5 interest rate and $450 a month payment we were planning on paying off in the next few months. How does that work with another 36-month term? What is all that about? What is all that about? I don't understand what that is for. Let's see. 11 comments. Let's just wade in here and see if there's any extra stuff. Either plan sounds good. No, it doesn't. It sounds dumb as shit. That's a negative, Ghost Rider. As someone else knows, it's going to be hard to refi without income unless you lie on the app. Refi would drop your payment $300 a month, giving you about $100 relief and more cash flow. And again, why would you do that if you're going to pay it off in the next couple months? Is it because of the laid off? You're not going to do that. I see. So you are trying to refinance to give you more time. No, I wouldn't do that. If you can't afford the car, sell the car and get a cheaper cash car. So yeah, that's a no. Okay, so I figured out what they're trying to do. They're trying to use debt Which, should we use debt for anything except a house, kids? No, we should not. It's dumb as crap. Do not do that, okay? And so they're trying to, and I got a great idea. Instead of it taking some time to find new employment, go to freaking Taco Bell and work there until you get a job in your field. Quit being dumb and spoiled and dumb again. Alrighty. Rough Independence 340. Just paid off my mortgage. Just turned 44. Paid off my mortgage and have a very nice paid off truck. Feels great not owning anybody a dime. Okay. And snuck in there. Yeah, that's great. Congratulations. So theoretically, that would be baby step 7. So fabulous. But some people do it wrong and they pay off the mortgage before and they still have step 2 debt, which is dumb as crap. Let's see. Anyway, blog. Paid off our mortgage. Oh, 2 in a row. Baby step 7 flare here this time. We're debt free. We paid off our house. Best birthday gift. I'm turning 51 soon. Excellent. We did this one. They do change spaces sometimes. Can't win with commute versus high cost of living. Or did we do that? Highest voltage? Maybe we didn't. Maybe I just remember the title of it. For the longest time. Whoa, whoa, whoa. For the longest time. That is Billy Joel, basically doing a tribute to the Four Seasons. I have heard the Ramsey team give the tough love instructions. It's not tough love, it's love instruction that if you cannot properly afford 15-year, less than 25% take home, a house near your work, then you will just have to suck it up and move further away to an area where you can afford the metric, a standard. The math doesn't care about your feelings. Bit of advice, and that's true, it does not. And what I'm going to go ahead and say here is this person is trying to justification station something that he wants to do, which is stay in the house he can't afford. A few days later, so basically both of them would be situation you can't afford. Then guess what? You don't make enough money to live there or to even live near it. A few days ago, a caller phoned in asking about potential car advice for his 100-mile each day way commute. And Dave steered the conversation more into it's stupid to live that far away from your job. It is. Yeah, it is. The caller explained that in the Seattle area, Washington Liberation Front, where, speaking of Last of Us, where the most lucrative construction work is, it actually does take that long of a commute to get out of the inflated house price and homeless abundant areas. Well, I got a great idea. Don't work in that field in Seattle then. That's dumb as crap to do then, to be stuck in that situation. That means you don't make enough money to work in Seattle. Even though that apparently is where the big job, the most lucrative construction work, apparently doesn't pay well enough for you to buy a house there within the Ramsey parameters, or you have to live 100 miles away, which is also not in the Ramsey parameters. So you need another job doing something else, apparently. Or, got a great idea. Go to another frickin' state that's not on the frickin' coast. Someone question is, how does that caller win? He followed Dave's advice to a T and bought a house for his family in an area he can actually afford, even though he knew it would require extra effort, long commute to make it work. And then called in seeking car advice and got told his entire lifestyle choice is stupid. It is. It is. When Dave says to stick to his housing, he doesn't say drive 100, even if you have to drive 100 miles. That is dumb as crap. And so, I mean, see, that's the problem. That's the problem. See, Dave will give his advice and I mean, does he have to tell the person to breathe too, to keep breathing? You have to be smart enough to not do dumb crap. That doesn't mean, again, not buying in Seattle and buying on the outskirts of town or another county over. We're not talking about 100 freaking miles away. If you cannot afford to live within 100 miles of Seattle, then you do not work in Seattle, dumbass. Quit being dumb. People are so dumb. And so Dave has to tell you to, again, that's like telling you to breathe. Why would you do that? Dave would never say have a 100-mile commute. What a dummy. So quit being dumb, and the caller was dumb, and also the highest voltage here. This person is dumb as crap as well. Expecting that Dave would have to tell the person, oh, also don't do that either. And so that's also another problem with people, is that they think that they're entitled to do stuff, like they're entitled to work in Seattle. Yeah, you can do that if you can afford to work in Seattle. This guy cannot, apparently, without driving 100 miles. And if he wants to do that dumb crap, he can do that dumb crap and take that long commute every day. But that would not be advised. It would be advised to, I got a great idea. Maybe you move somewhere else and you work somewhere closer to that area, and then it's an overall net gain. Imagine that. And you get that 100 miles back, or so a good portion of the 100 miles, and the time it takes to drive that, you get that back in your life. Quit being stupid and narrow-minded and thinking that, oh, well, I have to work in Seattle because that's the most lucrative construction work. It could easily be a net gain if you don't work in freaking Seattle. Quit being dumb, people. My goodness gracious me. So it says wages won't come up as long as people settle for them. That much is certain as well. Did I do this one already? This might be just like the other one where I thought I did it. Let's give a quick look. Left since 3390. I don't recall that username. I have too much equity in my home. No such thing. So, like, the best amount of equity you can have is 100%. And that would be paid off. And see, we're not trying to leverage the equity. So, again, somebody being dumb. Let's see what it's all about. Purchased my home in 2019 for $40,000. Okay. Complete shell of a 3-unit building with fire damage, no working utility. Okay, great. You fix it up, bring it back to life. Back to life, back to reality. With my own labor, using nights, weekends, vacation time, plus whatever money I could cobble together along the way. That's great. That's how you do it. And that's how you end up making money on the thing. The property is now complete and worth about $310K. Great. The catch... This wonderful increase in my net worth through equity in my home came at the expense of neglecting other aspects of my financial life. Well, that was dumb as crap. I started this year with the following picture. Yeah, and so guess what? Guess what you don't do? You don't do this dumb crap if you have other debt. Yeah, do you have other debt? Yeah. You don't buy a home if you have debt. You aren't ready to buy a home if you have non-mortgage debt. So you did it wrong. And so to fix that, that's starting the year with the following pictures. It's still that same. Since I'm already paid the down $5K of credit card and $6K on Lowe's line of credit, and can afford all the payments. No, you can't. So since then, that's the start of the year. January, it's freaking almost June, half the year, and you've only paid $11,000 off. That's better than nothing, but That's a no. So what we do here, so you see, is you sell the house and get out of stupid debt because you shouldn't have bought the house in the first place. That was dumb as crap. But I don't want all the payments. And how you get out of them is you sell the house you shouldn't have bought to begin with. I know I'm paying crazy interest on everything, and I especially would like to be out of debt to family. Oh yeah, and hey, guess what? Guess what? Home value mortgage is 115K left on it. What? It was 40K. Is there a home equity line of credit in here, something like that? Okay, I don't know how we got from buying it for 40K and now you owe 115K on it. How did that happen? And also the Lowe's line of credit, that's not cobbling whatever money I could cobble together along the way. That's you taking out debt to fix that home. And so that's a no as well. So what would Dave do is none of this stupidness that you have done. Oh, goodness. So I find myself with basically three options, and we'll see if you're right about any of them. People are dumb, and I mean, the same way that you talked yourself into doing your dumb crap that you did that's gotten you into this situation is the same brain you're using to figure out these three things. So let's see if we have any hope for this person. Sell the home and clean everything. Oh, great. Okay, so stuff is working up there. Good job. Which I don't want to do. I don't give a crap if you enjoy the home. You should not have bought it in the first place. What don't you understand about that? The baby steps don't say to buy a home when you have non-mortgage debt. That is a no, 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 no. Even if you bought it before you heard of Dave Ramsey, you would still apply that to, I shouldn't have bought this house. I should sell it. And so, yes, that is it. And that's probably why you put that to number one, because you know darn well that's what you should do. Enjoy the home and the rent I get from the other two units. The rent you get from the other two units don't mean crap. You should not have that house. Stay the course and run a standard debt snowball. Nope. Figure out how to wrap the other debt into the home to hopefully land myself in baby step 3. To wrap the other debt into the home. So to move it all over there with a home equity line of credit or refinance with a cash out. And both of those are no, no, no. Never, never, never quit being a dumbass. Would love to hear if I'm missing something. Any advice or guidance is appreciated. Open to questions. Yeah. Can you stop being a dumbass and trying to fix debt with more debt? Quit being a dumbass. Gosh. I mean, it doesn't say, you got to actually try to find the Ramsey advice here because it doesn't even say step 3B is where you would save the down payment for a house. So you're not buying it until step 3 is done, and that means step 2 is done. And so you wouldn't be doing that at all. But just engage with the advice a little bit, watch some shows or something. But otherwise, if you didn't know Bell Biv DeVoe, now you know, and you're still in the same situation where you do not have a house and debt leveraging all your debt in order to keep that house, which you don't own, which somehow you bought it for. You already must have rolled some debt in or something like that. Or again, did a cash out refinance or something like that. If you bought it for 40K originally, and now somehow it's a 115K mortgage. So you did it wrong. You're still doing it wrong. You still want to do it wrong. And so you're probably not going to quit being dumb. And so that's normal people, though. That's most often it. How many? 107 comments. Not going to do it. Thought about I might go in there and see what people were suggesting. But, you know, the thing with the Reddit is, and the internets in general, I wouldn't be surprised if at least 25% of the people said, "Oh no, that's great. You're doing a great job. Doing a great job." There. What time is it? Oh my goodness gracious me. So yeah, I have too much equity in my home. And that's not the problem. Your title should have been, I did it wrong and I'm still doing it wrong and I want to continue doing it wrong, is the name of your, or should be the title of your crap. All right, and tomorrow, Di says, follow the first 3 baby steps in order. Trading debt for other debt is still being in debt. That much is certain. And people are dumb, but again, that's the line people get fed. And if they're watching financial TikTok videos, it's all about debt leverage. Can you settle credit card debt? Yes, you can. And we'll get into the meat of that tomorrow. Also for tomorrow, student loan interest from 118K. Should I be attacking what? Interest before I pay off the next small one? No, you do small ones. You make minimum payments on all the rest of them and you put everything extra on a small one. People are always trying to outthink the baby steps. And does anybody ever feel like, for me, saving is like filling a bucket of water, but your whole state is on fire? Well, that is what it's like if you have debt and you're trying to have extra savings. That is exactly what it's like. It's like trying to fill a bucket of water, but that has a hole in it. Your debt is the hole in it, and so you're not actually making any progress. You're just treading water by doing that. And so, cool. I'm feeling like I'm not saving enough. You shouldn't be doing any extra saving other than the 15% while you still have a mortgage. We'll see if that is happening there. Alrighty. Once more, Coach Steve Money, Ramsey Solutions Certified Financial Coach. You're watching this on youtube.com/Coach Steve Money. And if you've got money problems or you're being stupid and need to be told so you stop being stupid, you can schedule a free financial coaching consultation with me at calendly.com/Coach Steve Money. That link is in the ticker below, also in the video description. Email coachstevemoney gmail.com. Any financial questions, anything about financial coaching, anything about anything on my YouTube channel, anything at all, whatever you got to talk about. Donations can go to paypal.me/Coach Steve Money. Alternatively, the $ Coach Steve Money. Coach Steve $ Coach Steve Money on CashApp. Walmart gift card to that same email address, coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Upcoming streams, might do a video game stream coming up sometime this week or weekend. Unsure about that though right now. The Ramsey Show Aftershow show, Monday through Friday, and that is at 10:27 a.m. following each YouTube Ramsey show that starts at 9 a.m. Eastern time. And so that when that's over at 10:27 a.m., that's when I can go live. Alrighty. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment. And as always, make smart, not stupid, not dumb. Make smart financial decisions every day.